Eminem is mid.
Hey, you have a right. Look, bro, I'm not, look. I'm somebody who don't try to convince you that he's not, bro. You have a right to your opinion, man. Like I understand why people dislike, his music
Yeah.
and dislike him too, because
I don't even
because
dislike him though. Like I tried to say that like low key,
mhm.
Eminem tried to do everything right. It's not even like I know people that really hate him. I don't feel that way. I was
Right, and
there.
I
I
didn't
was in
get
high
that from
school.
you, even though I was saying that. I didn't get that you like hated him or like. But
No,
yeah, you
no.
just think he's just mid and he just doesn't deserve the credit that he gets.
Yeah, his overall presence, despite it's kind of a tragic story, really. His overall presence, despite every effort that he's made personally, has been, I think, negative in hip hop. Well, maybe not overall, but too much or way more than I think you would have predicted. But like to keep it 100, like I was a angsty high school nigga in 99, 2000 when Marshall the Slim Shady LP dropped and the Marshall, man, I listened to The Way I Am every day, 5 times a day. You know what I'm saying? Coming home from high
Yeah,
school, like I was a hardcore Eminem head um early on. So like I don't want it to be mistaken that like, that I just don't like the dude's music, or that he doesn't have like I don't know, a legacy in hip hop for good reason and all that good shit. It was just, if you kind of analyze it from a kind of like a 30,000 foot perspective, you like pull out and look at Eminem and his career, and then you look at the state of hip hop then and now, you're like, yeah, this didn't go how I think anybody would have thought it should, based on factors that I don't think anybody could have predicted. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Because one thing, okay, I know I don't have a problem with what you just said right there. But one thing that I highly disagree with is when you basically said that his success has to do with him solely being white. That's what I disagree with highly. I just don't think that it's because he's white. I feel like
So
Eminem was somebody who actually did do the groundwork and he got the respect from black artists and black people. I just don't feel like because I'm not gonna say that him being white has nothing to do with his success. I ain't one of them motherfuckers, but I don't think that's the only thing that's why he's successful.
well, no, so I think maybe this is just kind of semantics. I say the extent of his success, that he is
When you say when you
the
when you put period at the end, that don't sound like you're just saying like half and
well,
half.
because but you got to remember what I said before then, that he's the highest selling rapper of all time. Yeah, I don't think that he'd be the highest selling rapper of all time if he wasn't white. I don't think he'd have won however many Grammys if he wasn't white. Like all those things so those specific
And
things
then
I
you said
said,
it's because he's white. The reason
yeah,
period. Like just
yeah,
solely because he's white.
yeah. So let's talk about those things in particular, right? So Eminem, how many albums this man got?
Probably like if I had to guess like 8 or 9.
7, 8. Let's see. I'm
Yeah.
sitting in front of my computer. Let's see. Let's do a quick analysis, right? So we got discography. Oh Lord, 1, 2, 3, 4. We was both off. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If you count Infinite,
Damn,
right?
all right.
But let's say his. But let's actually just do the first 5, because I feel like, or 6. I feel like recovery is the end of his era as like being considered a top tier. Is that fair to say?
Oh
I know
yeah. I
relapse
mean,
everybody hated, and recovery was like good, but by then the his time was up in terms of like being a top tier like rapper figure.
yeah, I don't disagree with
That,
that.
that yeah, and that might have been when he stopped dyeing his hair. So that's like the end of an era,
Hmm.
right? So we got Infinite, we got Slim Shady LP, we got Marshall Mathers LP, we got the Eminem Show, we got Encore, we got Relapse, and we got Recovery. Now I think we can all agree that Relapse is trash, right?
I have to go back and listen to it, bro, because yeah, I have to go back and revisit it.
So let's say Relapse. I think consensus would agree that Relapse is his worst album out of that group.
Okay.
I would say Recovery is probably second. Then we got Encore, which is not horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'd say Encore is good enough. We got Eminem Show, which I think is also good enough, but I know others feel like it's uh, semi-classic. Marshall Mathers LP, I think is consensus. That's a classic. Slim Shady LP is pretty good, and Infinite. I don't even know if we should count Infinite because that was like well
Yeah,
before,
you don't have to
and that
count it.
only yeah. So like he was the top selling rapper like off the strength of those first 4 or 5 albums, right? Or 5, 6 albums. And so let's look at like we talking about. So who would you say had a better catalog? Their first 5, 6 albums, Eminem or Jay Z, Eminem or Nas, Eminem or Outkast. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm asking you directly. Who would you say would have the best overall catalog? Their first 5, 6 albums
Everybody you
between
name.
yeah. And so, but who sold the most records?
I get you. But but but
And
but
so
then again, I'm gonna say this too because it's very true. That's subjective. That's not that's not a
it,
100%
it's
fact.
it's subjective, but you understand at least where I'm coming from when I
Oh yeah,
say
of course.
if I sit back and I analyze and I go listen to especially like an Outcast, like I'll give you Jay Z and Nas. That's like New York hip hop, maybe not as universally
And then another thing I'll say
beloved.
is that I feel like Eminem, his hit songs played a factor in that too. Because that's why I come to the conclusion of his first three being classics is because the impact of Without Me was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Cleaning out my closet, and not necessarily the album as a whole, but just based off of those notable tracks, what it did during that time makes those albums classics.
See, but then I gotta like so their bigness. So there's the bigness of those singles, and then there's the quality. So like Without Me versus Hard Knock Life, you know what I mean? Or Big Pimpin'. Without Me versus If I Ruled the World. Without Me versus uh uh Elevators off Outkast. Like I don't think it's close. Ain't nobody playing Without Me much anywhere
I
at
mean, you can feel that way, but other people might feel
other people
differently.
don't. Other people don't.
Yeah,
And I mean, yeah, obviously. So if we're talking like just the opinions of other people, I always feel like people are entitled to their opinions. That don't necessarily mean that those things are of quality. You know what I mean?
right.
But
You
I
right, but
can't reject that people do feel differently. So my question would be, what influences those feelings? And so I personally, the conclusion I come to, if I just sonically take a look at what Eminem was doing in that time frame versus his contemporaries, I think Wayne was the first rapper to really take him. Oh, and then you got
yeah,
Kanye
that's
about
that's that's a fact.
2002.
Yeah,
Um, so I forgot about Kanye. Kanye on memory
yeah,
vaulted.
can't.
I
Yeah,
think,
like if we talking about
uh,
like his competition during that time, then it's gonna be a lot of names that come up.
yeah, there's so many names that come up before him. You know what I mean? And so
I
that's my
wouldn't say
whole thing
before him
is
though. Like I would say
you wouldn't put
M.
Kanye before Eminem? I mean, we're not
No, no,
talking
no, no,
about
no, no. I'm
lyrically. We
not
talking
saying.
about
I'm just saying to group them together, like during that time.
during that
Like
time
the
period.
names that'll come up would be Eminem, Kanye, Lil Wayne. I wasn't saying that.
Ludacris, 50 Cent. I just Googled it.
Yeah, Luda 50. I was listening to all of that shit.